Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with King and Sharif. I'm King.
I am Sharif.
And tonight we are going to be taking on the tough subject of divorce.
Right.
So, how do you want to start this?
Well, we probably should start with like what makes you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a tough decision. What makes it like before you even start knowing how to get a divorce and everything? What makes you just say, "Hey, this is like what's got to happen" or whatever after?
So I think making the decision, and I am qualified to talk about divorces. I've been divorced more than once.
Okay.
But I think making the decision to get divorced is subjective. It's
Right.
subject to the situation that you're in. It depends on whether you have kids. You know, there's a bunch of different variables that you have to consider when deciding to end your marriage. For me, it just came down to I just couldn't do it anymore. And it was more of an emotional thing for me where I was not being true to myself by staying in a situation that I know I wasn't being valued. So,
Right.
so that's what I did. With divorcing my kid's father was really tough because our kids were young. And, we had the house, we had the cars, we had the dogs, we had the kids. We had spent the majority of half of our lives together. So it was a really tough decision. But at the end of the day, the relationship that we have now, everything happened the way that it should have. I wouldn't change our dynamic for anything in this world right now. Like he literally is one of my best friends. So
That's cool.
The other divorce, it was just because there were things that were going on that I just couldn't do it anymore. For women, sometimes we get to a point where we can't continue to turn a blind eye to certain things that are happening. And I started losing myself, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. Yeah.
So when you realize, okay, like the marriage is over and stuff like that, like what's like how do you feel inside? Do you feel like you failed, or do you feel like, you know what I mean, it's just the other person? Do you hate the other person because it's ending, or?
Well, so I will tell you that in a divorce situation, you never know who you married to until you divorce them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like a death. Like and that's what it feels like. Even though you know that's what you want, even though you know that that's the right decision, when that gavel hits and everything's said and done, it does feel like a death, and you do go through a grieving process. I don't care how long you've been married or how short time frame, you do have a sense of failure, that you didn't do everything that you possibly could have done to save your marriage. With our friend, I think that if we would have, well, first of all, if I wouldn't have been so pissed off, because I was pissed off when I was mad. I think that if we would have taken a step back and went to counseling and really put some effort toward it, I think we probably could have made it work.
So you think, before you decide to divorce, you should always go through like a counseling period?
Absolutely. I honestly think that in retrospect, I think that you should go to counseling before you get married.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times you go into a marriage with rose-colored glasses, and unfortunately, what you get while you're dating is going to multiply 10 times when you're married. So those red flags or those pink flags while you're dating turn into red flags when it doesn't go away. So, but absolutely, before you make the decision to get divorced, you should go through counseling, unless it's a domestic violence situation,
Right.
or something that you just can't, a molestation situation, something of that. Something heinous,
real
right?
crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you about it. We done.
Something other than cheating. You think cheating can be worked out?
Yeah.
With counseling.
With counseling and a lot of trust and a lot of, I'm gonna beat your ass if you do this again.
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
Yeah.
For a woman,
Actually, I agree.
okay,
Yeah.
so for a woman, we take a lot more than y'all can.
Yeah.
We take a lot more than y'all can now. Y'all not built like we are.
No, I think a woman like in like a cheating situation when married. I think if a woman cheats, the men will probably. I mean, the woman gets over it a little bit better, yeah. But the man I think that's a wrap for him.
That's my point.
Right.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah. I don't think you're right. I misunderstood you, but yeah, I think it's a wrap. I think it's a wrap for the man now because it's just more like, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's a pride or trust and all of it together, but, you know, it's just.
So why the double standard?
Shouldn't be a double standard.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be a double standard. It's just men are more. Well, females are emotional, but I think men are like way more emotional than females. At least the men that I've been around, like growing up with my father and stepfather and my brothers, they were more emotional than the women that I know. Like most of the women that I know are like really, really, really like strong-minded women. Unless it's just, you know, they broke down. Pretty sure they had breakdowns, but you know, my grandma put up with a whole lot.
Do you think she put up with a whole lot because she didn't have a choice?
No, I just think
she
just old school, maybe. Like, hey, you just stick by them, and what you married is what you got. You know what I mean? Like, you know, religiously, they might have thought that divorce wasn't an option. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or, you know, she was married before and did divorce, and then.
But what was the reason she divorced him?
Oh, my grandfather was an alcoholic. A real bad alcoholic, so I don't think he was putting his hands on it. He just was, you know, he just wasn't coming home. Yeah. And she was younger, but I think when she got married the second time, which is the only grandfather I know, because when they married, I wasn't born yet. So, you know, I didn't know my biological grandfather. But the grandfather that she had until she passed, you know what I mean, he was just the same as the first man, but I just think, I don't know if it mentally just comes and say, okay, this is just what I'm going to be attracted to. It may start in the beginning, it's going to get like that, you know what I mean, but we're building a life together. Because when they got together, the kids were grown. So, you know what I mean, like, I'm their kid, so so it's like, yeah, so it's just like, you know, I'm like, you know, I don't know what she was thinking because she put up with a whole lot, like, she used to get cursed out every day. Like, I never seen him put his hands on her, but he would curse her out every day. He talked bad on her kids, her grandkids, you know what I mean? He was, like, real disrespectful, and he was a real bad alcoholic, too. So I don't know why she didn't divorce him, but, you know, I mean, he got better later in life, and maybe that's what she was looking for. You know what I'm saying?
And so I take exception to that. Like, why do I have to go through the struggle to get to the end result? Like, I don't want to have to go through all that stuff to get to the good part.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I get it. I'm actually with you on that. And my second before. You know, so I guess my question is, well, your parents together for a long time,
My
right?
parents have been married since 1966.
Okay, yeah. So I've never been in a household where the people nobody in there has not ever been divorced. So, like, I mean, you grew up with an example of, you know what I mean, a 2-parent household, strong family, right? You know, I've never seen a strong family before. Like I said, like when my grandma was on her second marriage, but I knew all about my father because my aunties and mama and uncles, they always talked about him. You know what I mean? So I knew, even though I didn't know him, I knew what kind of man he was. You know what I'm saying? And then my second grandfather, they didn't have even though they stayed married, they didn't have a strong relationship. You know, I mean, like I said, that's what my experience with living with them was like just a very dysfunctional couple.
Yeah.
And my mother, first married, well, she only been married one time, but her relationship with my father was dysfunctional. Her relationship with my stepfather was dysfunctional. So I've never seen it. So like when my first marriage, it was like real quick. Like I was like, this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And she may not have been on that same page with me because she was madly in love and I was in love with her too. But I knew the things that I was seeing, it wasn't gonna work. Like we were gonna get divorced at some time. We might as well go ahead and
do it now.
Go ahead and click it now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And so my first marriage was one of, hey, I've never seen a functional family, and this went left pretty fast. Let me get the effing out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? I guess that question is, you know what I mean? Like, do you think, you know, more people that don't see a good family are more likely to get divorced or more likely not to even get married at all?
That's a great question. You know, I don't know. Like, so I looked up the divorce rate in the U.S. Before I came, and it's 41%. 41% of marriages, U.S. marriages, end in divorce.
So it's basically 50-50.
So it's basically 50-50. So
Right.
you know, and out of that 50-50, you've got to know that somebody's had a good model, role model. So I don't know. I think
60% of the people had a good
a good
look at it.
So I just think that people, to your point about your grandmother, people don't have the stick around and find out whether or not this is going to change mentality anymore.
Right. Like the older people.
The older people. I think it's generational. So I don't know. I honestly do think that the first situation that I was in, that we could have worked that out. We went through some stuff, but the second situation, nah.
No.
Yeah, the stuff that happened in that short period of time was stuff that, in the time frame that me and your friend was married, the short time frame that me and the other dude was married, all that stuff was packed into that 6 or 7 years. So, and you know, I just got to a point where I was just like, I don't have to put up with this, and I'm not going to anymore. So I would rather be alone than with somebody that doesn't value who I am as a person.
Right. No, I get that. And I just think, you know, with marriage, because I'm married right now, and I mean, I've thought about divorce a lot. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. And no, but let me tell you. I tell you when marriage is real tough, it's like when you don't have no kids. Like, you know what I mean?
You have to actually like each other.
Yeah,
and you don't
like
have the distraction of children.
Yeah, like you could just be hating somebody, but then you see them pick up the baby, and you just like, I just want to keep trying. Or you see them with the children and be like, oh, he's a great man. Maybe you're just going through a patch. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like when you don't have any kids, it's just kind of like, hey, you know.
So does that mean that? So let me ask you this question: Did you guys go to counseling before you got married?
See, I'm not a counseling person. Oh, we didn't go before we got married, no. And I think that would have helped. I think that was a great point, like to go to counseling before. I also think living with a person a while, and I did live with her and stuff like that. And really, I've got no big issue. Like we've both done some things in the marriage that most people would have said raps. You know what I'm saying? Without going into a whole lot of details, because I am still married, but. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we've done things to each other that we both would have said raps, but that goes back to what I was saying. Like, was she even easier to forgive? I'm more like, you know what I mean? I'm more like, hey, you know, it just sticks in the back of my mind. Like, I can forgive, but can't forget. And then, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things, it doesn't have nothing to do with us. It's just like people from the outside. And when those people from the outside are affecting your relationship, but you have no connection to them, like if it was, if it was like somebody from the outside that I had a connection to, but I don't have a connection to the people that's from the outside that's been messing with my marriage for 8 years. I mean, like it's just constantly somebody just keeps messing with us, like or coming in, you know, and it's just crazy. And I want sanity for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my thing is like, you know what I mean? Like how you said, you know what I mean? The person that you divorced, y'all became best friends. Well, this is my best friend before I got married. So, you know what I mean? So, like, okay.
So that in itself, if that's your dog, that in itself is like, regardless of what's going on from the outside.
Right. No. It's just tough because it's constant. You like never get a break. Like you might get a 2, 3, 4 month breather, and then it's like, okay, this is happening. Or you get a phone. Like it was like a couple months ago. Like I just felt my heart drop every time the phone ring. Like I think it's gonna be something crazy. Like this is going on. This person maybe this, and and I just don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, like I can be married, you know what I'm saying? We could carry it on for the world, but is that the best thing for both of our, sanity? Because or could we be better as friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, look here, maybe I need to remove myself from this situation, but I want to carry on with you as a life partner, you know what I mean? But that's just like
not opposed to that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like you
I'm not
live
opposed
there,
to
I
that.
live here.
Yeah.
We do have a good time together.
Right.
We do take good vacations together.
Yeah.
But living in a home is like driving me crazy and probably driving her crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the easiest person to live with, and especially not since I've been on a new journey. Like I know I don't come home like that. Like not when I'm like normal married people do, but I'm out here trying to build something and stuff like that. And when you don't have anybody but her at home, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, what am I going there for?
And so I think also too, I hate to use the term equally and unequally yoked. However, when you, and I don't know I don't know her, I don't know the situation, but as an entrepreneur, we're both hustlers, right? And I think it takes a certain mindset and a certain level of maturity for someone that is not a hustler or not an entrepreneur to understand the way that we move.
The way we move, yeah.
Sometimes we're not going to be able to come home at night. Sometimes we're not going to be able to, I knew I said we were going to have date night or whatever, but this came up because, in our mind, there's money to be made.
Right.
And there's things that got to be taken care of, especially if it's something that's got our name on it, that we're backing. So that definitely would be a problem. Whoever my future person is going to be, they're going to have to understand that I do a podcast every other Wednesday night. You know what I'm saying?
This one ain't too late. It
ain't too late, but I'm just saying.
Stuff I go to could last 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, so
But and every other weekend or every weekend, depending on, I might be not even in town because I'm gonna be bowling now. Either you're gonna watch me bowl, or you gonna have to. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of that is mindset, and if there is an understanding there. Just like when we were talking to Bo about
pretty much same situation.
Being in the studio. If you don't have that mindset, then it's not going to work. But so for those of you that are out there that are in South Carolina that are considering divorce, South Carolina is considered a no-fault state.
Okay.
And they do equitable division of assets. So the first thing that you would need to determine, if you do decide that you want to dissolve your marriage and you want to go forward with it, you'd have to decide what grounds you want to. And I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
I'm just, this is just my lived experience. So one of the reasons, the top reason in South Carolina for divorce is adultery, which is followed by substance abuse, which is drinking.
Right.
In my research, though, that it has to be something that can be proved. Just somebody that goes drinking every Saturday night, it's got to be something really extreme or being high on drugs or whatever and getting arrested for those type things. It has to be something that you can substantiate. The third reason is domestic violence, which is really surprising to me because of the rate of domestic violence in South Carolina. I thought that would be a little higher on the list of reasons for people to get divorced, but whatever.
So a lot of them take them back.
Yeah. And then
that a lot.
Yeah, and then the fourth reason is desertion. So
what's desertion? I'm sorry, I know what deserting somebody. So it's like
basically
just leaving,
and never coming back. And that goes hand in hand with being separated for a year. So if they leave, and you don't hear or hear from them for a year, then that would be considered grounds for divorce.
Right.
Yeah.
First one, the adultery. So do you have to split assets if you can prove adultery? So
in South Carolina, it's called equitable assets. So the assets are distributed fairly, but not necessarily evenly.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Right.
So if the house is yours, I don't want to get into that, but I don't know. With adultery, I don't know. It just depends.
Right.
With there not being any children involved.
Divorces should be easy when there's no children involved.
They are absolutely easy.
Right.
You can
actually do it yourself, right?
You can actually do a pro se divorce.
I did my first one myself.
Yeah, you can do a pro se divorce with no children involved.
Right. It's 20-something years ago. I don't know if you could still do that, yeah.
No, you can still do it, but the only way that you can do that legally and not get in trouble is if you separate for a year. Anything other than being separated for a year, you are supposed to get an attorney.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Attorneys are expensive.
They are.
Divorce attorneys.
They are. But, I mean.
You got some big stuff involved, yeah.
You got some big stuff involved, yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing that I want to do, but you know what I'm saying, or go through, but it's always something that be on the back of my mind. So I just always wanted to hear somebody else's perspective of divorce, because I don't have a whole lot of married friends anymore.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not a easy thing. It really doesn't matter what the situation is. Divorce is never easy. Honestly, though, if I met the right person, I'd get married again in a heartbeat.
I won't.
Never again?
No.
Come on, Wally.
No.
You're a good dude.
I believe I'm a good person too, but I just believe you know what I'm saying? I just believe marriage ain't meant for me. And it's not nothing about other women.
Why do you say that though? There's got to be a reason why you feel like marriage isn't for you.
Nah, I mean, it's not paperwork or nothing like that. I've been married 8 years and I was married before, but it's just been in relationship. Man, I'm a relationship guy, really. Shit, I ain't never really been out of a relationship long enough. I just think, you know what I'm saying, for what I got going on and what my goals are, it's just that I would like to do it by myself. I've raised my children to, if I got old, to be able to take care of me or be in a position to hire somebody to take care of me without me having to go to, a nursing home or need somebody. And that's what I think, my grandmama, I always thought she had to take care of this dude and because he had some problems. But he outlived her.
Wow.
He probably ran her in the ground. I know he didn't give her a medicine at the end because he.
What you mean he didn't give her medicine at the end?
They had a nurse and and they fired the nurse because they was why are we paying her all this money and I could just give her some medicine? But man, we came to find out during court proceedings and stuff like that, he didn't even know how to read and write.
What?
Yeah, he didn't even know how to read and write. He was mixing up the medicines and all kind of stuff. Oh, Lord. They definitely needed a nurse, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But okay. You know what I mean? I just don't feel you know what I mean? I some people marry for a lot of different reasons, and I think the second time I got married was oh, I loved her a whole lot now. She was my best friend. I really wanted to take care of her, but I didn't have anything when I met her. But, you know what I mean? I really wanted to take care of her because I just seen a friend, you know what I'm saying, people just treating her wrong, you know what I mean, and doing her wrong and stuff. And
why can't you just continue taking care of her?
I could.
And being her friend.
I would like that. But right now I'm not at that point, but that's how I felt at some times in the marriage. I haven't felt like that in a while. We've been going we had a good, strong 24. But you know what I mean? But 23, I was whoa, roadblocks and roadblocks. 22, 21, then maybe 20 was strong, but you know what I mean?
Okay, but marriage isn't always going to be, it's not always going to be good. And and the reason why I say that is because, like I said, my mom and dad have been married since 1966. Mm-hmm. They've been married since 1966 because they didn't want to divorce each other at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a cycle. It's right. Sometimes you're going to like the person you with and sometimes you're not.
Yeah, I think she goes through the same spells I go through. She's Absolutely. Why am I with this guy? This guy, she probably feels like I don't love her kids. You know what I'm saying? She probably feels I'm a street. Like I picked late in life to get in the streets, but I picked late in life to get in. I mean, I was semi still going out and doing stuff, but I picked later in life to do what I wanted to do. That is nighttime after my kids got grown. I waited till all my kids could do for themselves and was grown
Would you be
before I
willing
did.
to position yourself to not be away from the house so much?
No, I don't want to be in the house. It's just not going to work for me. No, that's one of the biggest problems I have. I don't like going home. Like honestly, I love her. I don't like going home. Like I don't like going home. Like I hate. I bought a house that's probably worth about $350,000 now, and I don't like being there. I would rather be here than be home. Like that's the biggest problem, and it really, like I say, really most of our marriage really got nothing to do with us. Like yeah, we had a little rough patch where we was, but we really wasn't. Even though we was still married, we really wasn't together. I would say that was like a break. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, even though we lived at the same house, we was on break. But I'm just talking about like once I've lived with her kids and you know what I mean and life being married for like a long time and I just don't I really don't like home life. You know what I mean? And that's nothing that I can help. You like what you like. I can't make myself like going home.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
I can't
true.
say, okay, I'm gonna force myself to like going home and then I get home. Like, okay, I'm here, but like I would rather just be out making money. I run a 24-hour business, you know what I mean? So, I could function my business around where it's a 9 to 2 a.m., 9 to 3 a.m. type thing. And then when I get home, it's just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Cool, everybody sleep. Yeah. And it's about to get worse though. We got babies coming in the house.
Babies?
Yeah, like we got babies. Like I'm not putting my wife's business out there like that, but we got maybe one. We got one definitely, and then we may got another one coming into the house. Like kids having kids, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like,
Babies are.
like they coming, so there ain't gonna be no secret for much longer. They around the corner, so you know what I mean. It's just like yeah.
Babies are good though.
And I'm hoping that maybe I'll fall in love with one of the babies or something like that because the
Yeah.
kids I couldn't do it. Like I wasn't able to fall for like her kids like I've done other women. Like
So that was an issue in my last marriage. He didn't necessarily care for my kids,
right,
and my kids didn't necessarily care for him either.
right.
But you've met my children.
They're
And
lovable
so-
people.
They absolutely are. So I'm sitting here looking back on it, thinking that maybe the fact that he didn't want to be at the house was an excuse to not be,
Well, I mean, if they don't like each other, it's hard to come home to. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to pay. I tell you, I'm an open book. It's hard to pay $1,600 a month, and the people that live there don't even speak to you. Like even when I was like, my mom, like I saw a dysfunctional marriage before between my mom and my stepfather. Like they literally one person stayed in one room, the other person they were jointed rooms, but one person stayed in one room, the other person
wow.
stayed in the other room. Like they literally was married just because they had twins. They wanted the twins to
have a two-parent
have a
household.
two-parent household till they graduated. And once they graduated, I think they made it a year after that, if I'm not
crazy.
mistaken. I think they divorced they divorced probably when they were maybe 19, 20.
I think staying together for the kids is a horrible reason to stay together.
Horrible
and here's
reason.
why.
Yeah.
Kids are a lot more resilient than we give them credit for.
They're a lot tougher now.
They're a lot tougher. And nowadays, more kids, parents aren't together than are together. Nowadays it's an anomaly for your parents to still be together. Your same mom and same daddy been together for years, and they were high school sweethearts. That's far and few in between now. That is part of the reason why I stayed as long as I did in the situation that I was in with our friend. But once they got over that lump in their throat of daddy not coming back home, they were okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, they
Cameron
should have
showed
known
up.
he wasn't that kind of man, no way. To just leave and not come back.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. You know, he did whatever, but he was always gonna come home to them babies.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, still to this day, you know.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not used to it. I could tell you, you know, when I married, after I was married, I had a woman that had a kid, but we didn't get married, and that was the reason why we broke up. She wanted me to marry her.
You mean the first marriage? After the first marriage?
After the first
Okay.
marriage, you know what I mean, I met a woman, we had a son. You know what I mean? My son's 20 now. We had a son, and you know what I mean, we didn't make it, you know what I mean? Every relationship I had after that, the next 2-3 relationships I had after that, the women had kids already. So I know I could be a good stepfather, you know what I'm saying? So I know it's not me. You know what I'm saying? Because the woman that I had after my son's mother, she had 3 daughters. We're still cool to this day. Me and her daughter, one of her daughters, like I really like basically adopted without paperwork. Like her kids call me granddad. You know what I mean? To this day, like we're still. I mean, we're not as tight as we used to be now that we're older and you know they've had kids and have men and they have lives.
Right.
But we still speak, you know what I mean? We're still on good terms. And then the relationship after that, it was a woman with a kid, and I had a son by her too, but she had a kid that was 2 years old. We're still close to this day. He was just here this summer staying with me. When he went to go stay with his father, I was so upset. Like,
So,
you know what I mean? Like, we have a
without getting
relationship.
into too much,
Right.
what do you think the issue is with you? Because if there are, is it 3 kids, 2 kids?
It's a little bit more than that.
Oh shit. Okay. What do you?
Well, you might as well say 3 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think the issue is? What do you think it's the fathers? Do you think it's just?
Yeah, I think it's a
them?
little bit of all of them. I think when we first like just was chilling and first staying together, it was all right. But then I think once we got married, like I just think like that was okay. We gotta blow this shit up. We never thought they would get married because we got married quick. Like you know what I mean? Because we were both people that were getting ready to move. And so I had a condo behind the dealership, and I was getting ready to like move. The lease was about to come up, and I actually took it over from a girl, and the lease was about to come up, and the landlord was like, "Hey, sign another lease." I was like, "Yeah." Like I got an opportunity to move to Las Vegas and sell airplanes, sell private jets. I could have sold a jet to Mayweather, you know what I mean? So that was my thing. Like you could sell one jet and make $100,000 a year, you know what I mean? So if I sell 2, I'm doing good in Las Vegas, you know? So that was my goal to move to Las Vegas, you know what I mean? My son was playing basketball at the time, and I had already talked to him and got it straight and everything like that. So I was going to Vegas, and she was going to Atlanta, you know what I mean? So it was just like, she trying to get out of a relationship. Because, I mean, when we first started kind of getting too serious about each other, she was still, like, trying to get out of a relationship. And I was out of a relationship. I had just spent a year as a bachelor, and I had been to Vegas twice that year setting up. You know, I'd already put a deposit on an apartment, you know what I mean? So...
you think you jumped too quick?
I should have took the trip because what you don't do is, you know what I mean, you don't second guess yourself.
Right.
So she said something to me, or, we was at my sister's house kicking it, and I think my Aunt Pat that passed away said something like, and I used to take a lot of stuff what she say, like it used to heart, like, you know what I mean, like I used to listen to her a lot. And she said, hey, that's going to be your wife. You know what I'm saying? And my sister was like, yeah, I really like your wife. Y'all never been together and stuff like that. So we started talking about, like, everybody think we supposed to be together, da-da-da-da-da. And she was just like, well, you know what I mean, if you be with me, you know what I mean, like if I'm going to Atlanta, you going to Vegas, if we get together, it don't need to be no bullshit. Either we going to get married or, you know what I mean,
Right.
Let's not do it. So, you know what I mean, so I made that decision to live with her, to not go take the job in Vegas, live with her for about 6 months, and then we got married. You know what I mean? So I was needed another place because I was going to leave Galleon and leave the condo, fly to Vegas, and so I needed another place. So when I got the other place, she came and her lease was about up, so she just came and we lived together in July. Man, we got married and shit. So
It was
quick. You know what I mean? Because we were, even though we were like flirting and going out and talking for about a year before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
She still had a man, but I mean, we didn't have sex or nothing like that. I'm not trying to clown her or nothing like that. She wasn't cheating on the guy. It's just that instead of just talking like friends, we started talking a little bit more serious about what life would be together. You know what I mean? I already knew she was a hard worker, and I never, in my last 2 previous relationships, I had took care of the woman.
Mm.
You know, I had at-home women that were like, one was doing something for me and running a braiding shop and doing some other things, like I was bootlegging movies and all that kind of stuff, was making my movies during the day and all that kind of, so she was productive.
You were the bootleg man.
I was a bootleg man, yeah.
I remember.
She was productive now. She helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Her name's Jennifer. She lives in North Carolina, doing well for herself. You know what I mean? Well, no, she's back in South Carolina. My apologies, right on the border. But she was helpful. I just was a mean ass nigga, you know, being a nigga. But the next one, I pampered her. She didn't work. She didn't do nothing. So by 4 years of that shit, to see a woman.
Oh, you was done.
To see a woman that was working, she was going to the University of Georgia, like going back and forth to Georgia, like getting a degree, and you know, I knew she could make money. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, even though she got kids, you know what I mean? I don't gotta worry about taking care of no woman no more. Because even when you go back from them previous relationships, the relationship before that I was with my son mom, she was just like a daycare worker, so she really didn't have no bread. You know what I mean? Now her family was a good family, but you know what I mean? So I had 3 women in a row that didn't match. Didn't match
Time
what
out,
I was
coach.
doing. Yeah.
Time out, coach.
Couldn't
Where
even
can
come.
I find somebody like you?
Couldn't
Not
come
you,
close.
because you might, but yo.
Yeah. Couldn't come close to. It's tough. And I ain't no perfect person like I got. Like I
Listen,
said, I
if you
got
want to take
issues.
care of me, you can beat me.
Man, I went through. I
You
went
can
through
be me.
3.
Like, okay, babe, what you
I'm gonna
want to
say
eat?
2.5 because my.
What you want to eat with your
I'm
mean
gonna say
ass?
2.5 because my
I
first.
wash your clothes.
Bro, I ain't getting no clothes washed.
Oh, wow.
And then the last one I had before I met my wife, like my last baby mama, like she absolutely brought nothing but talk to the table. Like she had big dreams and couldn't pull none of them off. The reason why I have never left a woman like I left her. I just got frustrated, even though I had a kid by her. I was just like, and I loved her son. Like we're still close to this day. And I was just like, hey, look here, I'm getting ready to go out of town for 2 weeks. When I come back, please be gone. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to stay here. I don't want to stay here while you moving out because I know we're gonna fight. So I just want to. Yeah, and please be gone when you come back. If you want to tell me where my son is at, you can. If you don't want to tell me where he at, I'll get a lawyer, a private investigator, and find out where he at. But I just need you to leave. It was just that bad. So and my wife now was like coaching me through that shit. Like I would sit out in the yard, like, cause we stayed at, you couldn't. It was hard to talk you had Sprint. It's hard to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
So I would have to go outside and talk anyway. So I would be like in the car for like an hour before I get home. Like I'm frustrated on the job. I'm frustrated at home. Like, you know what I mean? And she was going through the same thing. So it was like we walked each other
through your stuff,
to get out. So when a year as a bachelor, like she was all I could think about. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's so funny. Like she was all I had, you know what I'm saying? She basically healed me, you know what I'm saying? And I healed her. So I didn't want nothing to happen to her. I didn't want her to get out there and go through this shit again. And I just didn't think nobody could treat her kids the way I would treat her kids and stuff like that. Or could even deal with the kind of niggas that she had babies by, you know.
So because of that, the foundation that y'all have.
Yeah. I'm still that way. I want to take care of her. I don't want to ever see nothing happen to her. And you know what I'm saying? And even if we wasn't together, I wouldn't get another wife because I just know I still got that responsibility. I know because she went through cancer. You know what I'm saying? I know if cancer come back, I need to be there for her. You know what I'm saying? I know how. Yeah.
You go ahead.
You know what I mean?
All that other stuff, y'all
Yeah.
just go ahead. Just the outside forces.
Yeah, and that's,
y'all got to come to an agreement.
And that's
or
why,
something.
yeah, I mean, we done tried. But that's why I wake up some days, I be like, well, you know, I got a responsibility here. You know what I'm saying? I married this woman for better, for worse. And she's not the worst part of the marriage. Like, is everything else that's the worst part. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go into too much more details, but it is her. But what I have against her is something that I can get over. You know what I'm saying? The other shit that's coming through.
What about what she has against you?
Against me? No.
Did she get over it?
I ain't had no infidelity. Now she done caught me talking to girls and stuff, but I ain't.
That ain't infidelity?
Talking? I mean, I don't think talking is cheat. That's
would you
that's an episode.
Would you feel comfortable with her seeing the messages you were sending back and forth to the women that you was talking to?
But I have seen them.
That's not what I asked you.
we both sent messages.
Okay.
Like we both sent messages and drive.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so yeah.
Then,
but I didn't. We neither one of us really flipped on each other about it. It was just more like, hey, we're gonna work this out. We don't want this to be over this shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got no business in my phone. I got no business in your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with her. As far as like, I got a problem with some of the stuff, but it's just regular marriage shit. Like, like why you spending money on this, and why you ain't got no money, and you making $150,000 a year. Like, why don't you have a bank account with $20,000 or that? That's some shit you can get over. You know what I'm saying? That's just somebody that doesn't go. That's something that I think she'll grow out of. She's 39 and I'm 48. You know what I mean? That's something that you grow out of. Going through, getting into your 40s, because I was a fucked up spender in my 30s too. Yeah. Like I made a lot of money and trashed it. So you know what I'm saying? So
I've been there and done that too.
Terry will tell you that. Terry was in the back cooking, and I'm like, man, we rolling up on him. We got steaks, we got roof crisps for lunch, and he back there cooking a potato in the microwave. You know what I mean?
Probably some spaghetti he brought from the house.
Saving money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we was blowing money on the car lot, like it was, coming fast, leaving fast.
He's still cheap though.
Yeah, he cheap.
If you see this, Terry, you still cheap.
Oh, he cheap.
He cheap. Definitely is that.
Yeah, he's a cheap guy now. But I thought old girl was gonna bring him out of it, but he's still cheap. Because I know she ain't cheap.
Yeah, I think that was part of the demise. But
the little petty stuff, I can get over that stuff. But big stuff like not being the man of your home, you know what I mean? Not being at peace at home, you know what I'm saying?
Especially since that's
your
situation.
Yeah,
right?
I even had a child. I just tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves is, I fell out from siblings because of this. You know what I mean? That were not close. Some of my closest siblings, I feel like if you steal from me, I really just can't stand you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I've had kids steal from me, lie from me, get me in trouble with the law. You know what I mean? It's just been a rough 8. I mean, do I think the good outweighed the bad? I really do think the good outweighed the bad, but I think it's just so close to the edge.
Yeah.
Like it's what they say, 50, 40, 50, 51, no, how you go, 51, 49.
Yeah.
Like you right there on where the 49 could be, one thing could make the 49, you could
topple it over,
you could go from the 51 to 49 in a day, you know what I mean? And those kind of days is the days you don't feel like it's worth it. But I don't want her to go through the marriage process, not because I don't want to split my assets, because I would split my assets with her. Like, I would not care, like, because I know, you know what I'm saying, we came in this thing together, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the house may be mine, may be in my name, but I wouldn't want her or her kids not to have that home. I bought it, I bought it in the intention of us maybe making that,
your family home.
Our family home, like, okay, I might buy this house and everything. They'll be, they'll be on my shit then. They'll love me then, you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, dang, man, this dude really love us, but his own kids don't stay here, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't work out that way. And it made me feel guilty because at one point we got a $350,000 house and my son was on the street. My littlest son was on the street, not my older kids. Their mothers was always able to keep everything tight, and we co-parent and everything was good. They had programs and everything. Well, my littlest son, with the woman that won't work or do anything, he just had a rough life, as far as living arrangements go. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it just hurt my feelings that my son was, in and out of apartments and staying with people and living with, on the couch. It was a dog, on one couch, he was on the other, you know what I mean? And I got a $350,000 house. And I even offered his mother the old house we had, even though I knew it was kind of close and it probably was going to be some issues, but I wanted him to have a house. And I even offered her that, but she wouldn't move back to South Carolina. She was just like, she would rather be a bum than live in South Carolina. Yikes. I don't know why, but that's how she was, yeah. So, that me and her relationship, that we wasn't married, but that was like a long relationship that needed to end. And so, so just coming back to back off of, you can't take but so many blows, you know what I mean? So divorce, that's why I wanted to talk to you. Divorce is something that I can't even lie, that runs through my mind. Yeah, and it's nothing that I'm going to surprise my wife with. We talked about it a couple of times, like I would give you everything just for my sanity or make it better, but I don't think she has the capability of making the relationship with the kids better with me, because I mean she doesn't.
It's not up to her.
No, it's not up to her. But I can tell you this. I can tell you this. When my mom was married, even though their relationship was dysfunctional, when my stepfather treated me like shit, my mama would get him right. And treated me like shit, my mama would get him right. And when I treated him disrespectful, she would get me right. This man has never walked in the door. I even called him dad. Like, back in them days, she was just like, hey, your father ain't around. You should at least call him dad just because he's paying the bills, you know what I mean, and taking care of you. And I was just like, it took me a minute, but you know what I mean, it probably took me 2 or 3 years that they were married. I started calling him dad, you know what I mean? And he's dad to this day, or pops or something like that. And that's just the kind of respect that even though we don't get along and I may have some gripes about it, I don't think it's that we don't get along. I just don't like him as a man, you know what I mean? I respect him as somebody that took a kid in, you know what I mean, and took a family in or whatever, and they were able to work everything and I respect him for sticking with, even though my mom probably was a handful because she didn't want him no more. She probably was a handful to deal with, you know what I'm saying, for those years that they weren't really together but living in the same home. So I respect him for, giving my brothers, I love my brothers. I respect him for, sticking it out until they could, they could find something else. I don't respect how he tried to come after like you said, you don't know a person until you get a divorce. Absolutely. I don't respect him coming into a relationship with nothing and my mother taking care of him. And because he was a seasonal worker and my mother taking care of him, and then when you divorce her, you try to take half of what she earned. You know what I mean? Now, I don't respect that, and that's my beef with him now. You know what I'm saying? But I have enough respect for him. If I seen him on the street, I'm going to hug him. What's up, Pops? How you doing? How's your health? What's going on? And we probably won't even talk about our issues, you know what I mean? But I walk in the house, bruh, I'm like, mister. What they say? What Bernie Mac said? What that girl said to Bernie Mac? Oh, there him go. There him go. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, hey, no hello, how you doing? Fuck you, nothing. Just silence, bro. It's just it's a rough walk up. That's a rough walk to walk by that and then walk up the stairs without saying anything.
Yeah, that's tough.
And so, and that builds up on you. So when you do have an issue with one of them and you do have to say something, then it sounds angry. It sounds angry. Like her sisters, like I really go like 6 months of being disrespected, and then when I blow up on, they'll like literally just call their aunties or something so they can hear me go off and curse everybody out. And now I'm the bad guy when I just went through 6 months of walking by these niggas and nobody said shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
so that's a tough spot to be in.
That's the bad part of marriage, right? If the kids don't like you, that just makes it just almost impossible. I can't believe I made it this far because I mean I've been now is most probably the least amount of tension that I've been through. 24 and so far in 25, knock on this table, is the least amount of drama I've been through in the 8 years.
But do you think it's because you haven't been there? Or
yeah. It's like I'm picking times to get there because I know people are going to be sleeping. I ain't got to watch. It just angry. The more and more I get older, the more and more I guess that's with maturity and just kind of I'm still old school. You know what I'm saying? But the more and more I get older, the more and more it bothers me to walk by people that don't speak to me. But you in my shit. Like, bruh.
That's tough.
Like, bruh, like the car you get in, I'm paying for. The house you live in, I'm paying for. Like, You know what I'm saying? I don't pay utilities and all that shit, but the TVs that you watch, some of them I put on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, like, you know, I don't buy no food. I'll be honest with you. I don't buy food, but you know what I'm saying? I don't have to buy groceries and stuff, but you know what I mean? Just be honest. It's a tough situation.
But you're furnishing the facility, so you might not be buying the food.
$1,600 a lot of money to kick out and can't come home and damn do what the hell you want to do, and you know, and speak to somebody, have no love. I bought a dog. That's the most love I got in the house. You know what I'm saying? I told them for years that I wasn't going to buy them a dog because they wasn't taking care of the house. Like the previous house we had, they wasn't taking care of. The new house, they took care of it better, but still not to my standards. Not that I'm the most cleanliness person in the world, but something on the floor, I'm picking this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not walking over shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, you know, I'm walking in bathrooms cleaning shit. You know what I mean? Why would I want to clean your shit and the dog shit? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not getting the dog. But like I said, my wife had cancer and I was getting out there in the streets doing more of this entertainment stuff, doing open mics and making money like that, doing different stuff that I just felt like, you know, I wasn't there to hold her when she cried and stuff like that. So I broke down and got the dog a year or so ago. And that's the most love that's the most love that I felt, and even before we got married. Like even because I told you like the previous relationship before that, like I really felt like I haven't been loved properly in 12 years. I think the last girlfriend that I had, where I said I got stepdaughters that I'm still cool with today. All of them graduated. You know what I mean? All of them talk to me. Now one of them just wants cash outs, but the other two talks to me, and we have a relationship and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? Like that was the last like love. Like okay, you need some iron. You need this. You need that. You know what I mean? Like okay, I knew she loved me. I just wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? But the next 12 years until that dog came along, I ain't received like love like at home love, you know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy that's the only part and that's sad. The best part of your home is, you know, a dog, you know what I'm saying? Not to say it like a dog is not like someone to love, but like it's an animal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kids around here and I love kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, they just never took advantage of my heart. And they could have a lot more if they did that. I just got to the point where I just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking you to get ice cream or do anything because shit, you don't like me. And I've just gotten to the point where, you know what I mean? I don't want to say that on camera, but I just got to the point where I'm just like, fuck it. Like, we have no relationship. I have a relationship with your mother. I'm going to keep doing for her because I just know, you know what I'm saying, if we was to split up while she was going through her thing, because she's been going through her thing for 4 years, that made that I wouldn't be able to live with myself if she was if something happened to her, you know, stress level went up like that. So you know what I mean. So but divorce is tough, and I don't want to do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean. I would rather it just get better, or I would rather just I stay out. I stay away from the home for 4 or 5 more years and then everybody be gone. But then now I'm seeing now that the kids are having other kids and I just know they're not responsible. I know they come into my home, so I already know like, okay, now I was like, okay, I'm trying to make it to the finish line because I know when it's just me and her, it's going to be beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how we get along and how we like to have fun and how we do our thing. And I said, damn, we got some money. Like when we first started out, we ain't had no money. Like we got some money now. Like, okay, life will be good. We just got to make it 5 years. You bear with me while I build this up so that when 5 years is up and when it's just us and everybody's gone, you know what I'm saying? Then we go to the beach and live happily ever after. But them 5 years seem a long ways when you start seeing babies come in the house or babies when they start talking about, hey, yeah, such and such having a baby. You just know that baby getting ready to live with you.
So what do you think would happen if you put your foot down?
I put my foot down plenty of times. Say, hey, that ain't gonna work. Only thing that I thought might would have helped was counseling, but once I did like 2 sessions, I was just like, you know what? This ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big fan of counseling, you know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of just, you know what I mean, hey, you know what the fuck you supposed to be doing. Let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? How we grew up and everything like that, yeah, that's probably is a part of this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think revisiting that is gonna help us. Like what our problem is, hey, you know what I mean, you need to get on top of that, and you haven't been on top of that. You don't want to get on top of that. You don't want them to hate you. So, you know what I mean? You just figure, hey, he ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and so that as someone, I haven't been in a situation quite that extreme, but
It's extreme, yeah.
it's a difficult position for a mom to be in when there ain't warm and fuzzy between
The kids, yeah.
the kids and the person that you're with. That's a difficult position to be in because you're right. You don't want your kids to hate you.
Right.
But on the flip side, you got your significant other and you need to tell them to do this, you need to tell them to do that. And it's just, and then on top of the fact that she's got medical stuff going on.
Right.
So
she has her own situations
you know
and
what I'm
stress,
saying? Yeah.
And I could tell you this, now, ever since I got out of here about it, life has been better for me and her on a personal level. It still doesn't make me feel better. Home life, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and home, you know, home is a lot. It means a lot to me at an older age. You know what I'm saying?
And you deserve to be able to come home.
Yeah, you know what I mean. If you tell somebody like, hey, you know what I mean, like grew up. You know, I grew up like in a house where hey, we didn't sleep in the living room. We didn't trash the living room. We didn't do this. So you know what I mean. We get in a new house. I say, hey, you know, don't do this in the living room. That's all I ask. You know what I mean. House is y'all's, but you know. Make the living room comfortable where I could just, you know, come in, sit down, bring company, you know what I mean? It went a year. And next thing you know, so they just like, fuck this nigga.
Wow.
I was just telling you, that, and shit like that bothers me. Like, I'm not asking you for a whole lot. Y'all, it's 5-bedroom house. Y'all take her every bedroom. Except, y'all take her every bedroom, every bathroom. We got a bonus room. Y'all take that up. You know what I'm saying? All I ask is for this. You know what I mean? I just want this. That little space. You know what I mean? Living room, kitchen, and there's a little bedroom down that hallway that I can store some things in and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's all I want. You know what I mean? But I couldn't even get that. So it was just like, damn, you know, this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. It's just hard to explain. But it'll make most people can't handle it, but I can handle it just for the. I'm coming to the end of it because I'm thinking like it may not work like that. Like I may need to just get another place, and you know what I mean. Like, but you know what I'm saying. I have so much. Like I have 4 build. Like I just paid the day all the buildings rents was due was the last day to pay. Like I just paid literally what. 3, 4. I just paid $4,800 in building expenses. Can I afford another $1,500? Because that's about 1 bedroom. I'm not gonna live anywhere that I don't like. You know what I mean? So if I was to get like a 1-bedroom high rise or something, West Columbia, watching the city or something nice that I can get my sanity and do my writing because I'm writing scripts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Where I can think, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to think here, and it's hard for me to think there. So even though this is, you know, a good sanctuary for me to move around, there's still a lot going on outside. Right. You know what I mean? That makes you not stay focused. You know what I mean? I got phone calls and business to run. But, yeah, you know what I mean? It's another $1,600. Like, that would be the price of another building. Yeah, another building that I could actually make money off of. That's not making money. That's just going out the door. So I gotta weigh, you know, I gotta talk to her, weigh that. Like she's heard this before, so this is not a surprise. Right. She may be a little upset that it may have went out to the world, but you know what I mean? Hey, you know, that's my prerogative whether I wanna tell somebody my business, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel about that. Like if it wasn't going on, it wouldn't be a need for me to discuss about divorce, like, you know what I mean? Because this didn't have to be a discussion. Right. You know what I mean? But it is one. So I was thinking about instead of annexing, I was supposed to annex to back to Orangeburg and Sumter this year and get a new building by the end of the year in Sumter And we was also looking into maybe not even doing that and getting an event center.
Oh,
You
nice.
know, yeah, but I had one on the second loop in Florence, and it had water damage. The lady gave me my money back.
Man.
Nice building, nice
Yeah.
event center,
Second
man.
Loop?
Second loop, yeah. I found one in Florence that would have been perfect. Cause Second Loop is like in the middle of everything. Like you can get downtown to the mall, you know what I mean? In no time, you know. Out South Florence way. And my office is like right down in South Florence. I was gonna just close that down, move it into the Second Loop, and just have that as a event space. It was 2,800 square feet, and
nice.
and $200 cheaper than this place.
Wow.
It was $1,300. It was really only $1,100, but the lady was charging me the taxes that they pay. So you know what I mean. So she was charging me extra $200 a month because their taxes was like $1,200 a month a year. So she was charging me the taxes, and so you know what I mean. It was a nice little place. Paid the deposit and everything like that. We started going in there to see what we wanted to paint and stuff, and we realized it had water damage. So when we talked to her, she was just like, you know, I mean, we had paid the deposit, but we hadn't paid the first month rent. And she was like, "Oh, I'll give you 2 months free rent, and we'll get it fixed and stuff like that." And it never got fixed. And she just said, "Hey, I'm just gonna refund you because it's it's $20,000 worth of damage."
Yeah.
She was like, the people that own the bit like the shopping center, they just want to sell the whole shopping center now. They don't even want to put this kind of money because they needed heating and air and another on the other side and everything like that.
Too much of a liability.
Yeah, for them to get the whole everything that needed to be done in the shopping center, they were looking at like 40 to 50 grand, and they were just like,
Did they sell it?
I went by there. Nobody's still in that occupied that building. You know what I mean? But the other shops are still open. So I don't know if they're looking for a buyer or what, or if they've changed their mind and decided to do the smaller amount of work and not $20,000 worth of water damage. But yeah, that building was nice, but it needed to be painted. It needed, the floors needed to be, how they come through, and when the floors are ugly, they come through and put that stuff down or whatever. I can't think of what it is, but I did my garage like that, and my garage
Epoxy.
was my garage was $1,200, and that was from somebody that was real cheap. So so I imagine that building would have probably been about, if you count the square feet.
Yeah.
Garage is probably like 700 square feet. I'm thinking maybe $4,000, you know what I mean? So it's a lot. It was a lot for us to get it to be the event center that we wanted to be in. Man, we was gonna have it was so big. We was gonna have Wilson colors in the front. Then it was gonna be South Florence colors in the middle, and in the back was gonna be West Florence colors. And it was just gonna be something that people could like take pictures, and I mean, it had like little picture booths, like little, because it was a beauty salon too, but it was a beauty salon in the back, and the front was just a big large space. Man, I was like, man, I hated that. But so since then, since I got turned down from that, I've been looking for an event center. So you know what I mean, I just haven't been able to find one that was affordable. But so I don't know if I just want to get an apartment and just say scrap all that for 2025 and 26. Just figure that other living situation out. But if I did like leave the home, I would still want to be with her though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't want to just like, hey, you know what I mean? But I think she wouldn't want to be with me no more if I wasn't living with her. Like, I think it would still be a wrap because, you know what I mean? The way that I want to live is not the way that she want to live. So she just wanted me to just, hey, toughen up, nigga.
And with that, at the end of the day,
right.
Divorce is never an easy situation.
Right.
Divorce, I think a lot of people jump into marriage without a lot of thought. And they also jump into divorce without a lot of thought and without thinking about the repercussions and the ramifications of being a divorcee. It is best for some people, other people not so much, but they don't find that out until after everything happens. So I know that one of my situations, I think I probably could have tried harder, but the other situation was right on time. It needed to happen. So you have to do what's best for you. And if you do decide to get a divorce, always seek trusted legal counsel to make sure that you're getting a fair shake in everything that is going to transpire when you start your divorce proceedings. What else you got?
Nothing much. Everything going all right. Besides that,
Okay.
Life is good.
We
making money. Had the best month last month that we've had in February.
That's what's up.
February that we've had in the business.
Let me hold about $50. Let me just get by.
Got
you need my cash
I can do $50.
You can do $50. Hey, thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we will see you guys in the next episode of Real Talk with King and Sharif.
All right. Yeah, that was a good one.